suddenly there aren't enough babies. The whole world is alarmed. This is a Wall Street Journal story. Fertility rates have plummeted globally, with the United Nations projecting rates below replacement levels far sooner than anticipated. Actual birth registries report significant undershoots compared to UN estimates, with countries like China and U.S. experiencing substantial declines. According to Fernandez Villarda, global fertility may have reached between 2.1 and 2.2 last year, potentially marking the first time in human history that fertility falls below replacement levels. First time ever. The pace of the decline has caught many off guard, with fertility rates declining faster and more extensively than previously predicted. Despite expectations for a gradual reduction, fertility rates have dropped swiftly, challenging assumptions about population growth and economic stability. According to Kearney, an economist at the University of Maryland, it has snuck up on us. Rob, can you pull up some of the charts that they have on, not that, the other chart that has to do with this story? You don't have that, the article that I just read right now, because it shows.
I can send you the picture.
Yeah, is this the one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I sent it in the chat, by the way.
What are these countries? Can you zoom in so we can see them? Okay, so that's the replacement. Where we're at now, United Nations estimates of live births per woman, how it's declined. Keep going. It used to be 4.86 to now 2.1, 2.2, whatever the number was. This is what, Rob? This is U.S. Is it U.S. 1.62? Mm-hmm. And South Korea is 0.72, and the world average 2.15? Oh, my. And it used to be 4 or 5, even in... Okay, go a little lower. What's the next one, Rob? Is there any other charts? Mm-hmm. No, that's the one. That's the one I'm looking at. Zoom in a little bit. So U.S. has declined. Mexico dramatically. Wow. They were having 5 kids. They're down to less than 2. U.S. went from 1.8 up to 2.1, down to 1.6. India dramatically dropped from 4.9 to 2. China dropped from 3 to 1. Damn, look at South Korea. They dropped from 3, 2.8, 2.9 to 0.7. Hungary came up. Japan dropped, keeps dropping. And Japan, there's something called the sexless society in Japan. You ever heard this before?
No.
Yeah. Type in Japan sexless society. Japanese folks don't have a lot of sex. And this is not a joke. It's called the sexless society. Japan is a sexless society. Click on it.
What?
Yeah, Japan is a sexless society.
Those girls look like they're having fun.
By 2060, Japan is expected to have a population of 86.7 million, down from 128 million in 2008. At least 40% of the 86 million is expected to be 65 and older. As the population declines, there will be fewer younger people to care for the older. Tokyo is expected to have medical and nursing shortages. The decline in Japan's population has been in the works since the early 70s. Why has Japan gone through this? And it explains, has Japan become a sexless society? Tom, what are your concerns with these numbers on the birth rates we're having?
So, first of all, the socialists have a spreadsheet problem. They need money, and they need to tax taxpayers, and taxpayers are people under 60 that are working. So if you're going to take all this money and you're going to have a socialist society, when people live too long and you don't have enough new taxpayers, guess what? Your spreadsheet breaks. The second thing is, I think is really sad, is this talks about the global destruction of a simple institution that has been pervasive in history, and it's called the family. And with the destruction of the institution of the family has come, fecundity rates haven't changed. Fecundity rates is people's ability to have kids. And fertility rates is how often they have kids. And it's terrible. I think the destruction of a family, abortion and things that go along with it that are, giving us an older population retired.
Okay, so let's write that down. Hang on, let's go through it, Tom. So abortion. So you're saying abortion rates. Okay. Number 2, you're saying what? Boomer generation growing. So they're not having kids. What else would you say? What's another reason why fertility rates in the U.S. are dropping? Is it fair to say we're becoming more of a selfish society where it's about us, not others? Have we increased in our selfishness?
Absolutely.
You think so? How do we prove that? How do we prove the concept that we become more of a selfish society?
Gather up every headline that says that children are an economic burden. Economic to who? You can't do what you want. You can't have more fun. Kids are in the way. Look at all those headlines, PBD. That points to, oh, children are an economic problem. Children are issue. Children takes away your ability to live life rather than having the delight of raising new citizens and being so proud of them and what they can be. We're upside down. Just go find all these headlines that talk about that, and I'll put them in a bucket called, Exhibit A, selfishness.
Okay, what else would you say?
Vaccines, maybe?
What else would Rob, can you look at what I just texted you? Take a look at it and see if that's true or not. And then if you have credibility to show it's not, I want to talk about
Can we
that.
put vaccines on there? Because they're saying sometimes they have infertility in the vaccines.
Okay.
You're saying, why aren't people having kids? Maybe they
Fine.
can't.
That's allegedly. That we need to research it.
Oh, wait,
okay.
yeah.
What else? What else could be the reason for fertility rates? Could it be the lack of values and principles, marriage, family? That could be one.
Testosterone down.
Testosterone
Big
down.
time down.
Okay, fine. So maybe that could be linked to too much phone time. It could be social
pornography.
media.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Okay,
social media.
okay, boom. The next thing is porn becoming too accessible. I'm making a list, guys.
The sex doll, the porns, the sex dolls, the toys, the this, the that.
You don't have to be married to have kids.
I'm not in the market. Are there some high-end sex dolls right now?
I can't
I don't know.
confirm or deny, but I'm
Arrow
going to tell
with
you right
CRX. I mean, I'm from a Honda CRX.
now. Yeah, they were.
So what else? So porn being too accessible.
You
What
don't
else?
have to be married to have kids, but divorce rates that have been going up since the 80s, proves the family is fracturing.
What else? What else, Tom? I would say 9, faith. What else? What else?
I'll give you mine when you're ready, Tom. Keep going.
Go ahead, Adam. What else? What else
Okay.
would you add?
Well, I'll give you a couple of things. Number one, we saw that Wall Street Journal article about the decline in traditional American values. The leading thing was patriotism. People aren't even proud to be American anymore. We've seen that decline. The declination of family, the declination of people having kids, the declination of religion, the declination of community involvement. The only thing that actually went up was money. Speaking of selfish or being selfless, I think it's totally okay to be selfish up until a certain point when it's time to be selfless. I'm going through that transition right now. Not the type of transition Vinny talks about. But also a part of it is what it costs to have a kid. It costs $250,000 per kid from 0 to 18. If you're Gen Z or millennial and you're actually the only generation that's expected not to be as rich as your parents, you have some math problems to do. And we all just saw the buy now, pay later situation that's going on economically with people and their money. Then you have student debt that's basically pushing people down to waiting time to buy a house, and it's taking longer to do that. Then you have the feminist problem. All right, modern feminism. We saw the war of words that I had with Chelsea Handler about a year ago when she was advocating for being a boss babe and never having kids, and then just thinking that you're going to be happy alone at 50 years old, a couple cats and a vibrator. Good luck, Chelsea. But modern feminists, working women, and boss babe culture is taking over. Speaking of culture, there's something called hookup culture, and there's also called baby mama culture. I don't need no man. Lyndon Baines Johnson married the state. Don't marry a man. They'll pay for you. You're welfare queen now. Baby girl, good luck with
Who
that.
said this? Wait a minute. Slow down. Who said this?
Lyndon Baines Johnson from the Great Society, what he talked about with marrying the state.
I remember watching that.
Yeah,
Were you
marrying the state.
It was a video.
Adam, were you paraphrasing, or is there an article on that somewhere?
That's a paraphrase right there, but we all know what's going on there. Then there's abortions out there.
Stop.
So,
Slow down. I'm taking notes.
Okay, gotcha.
this is
I'm on
great.
fire, Pat. What
I
do you want
love
me
it.
to do?
I'm loving this. Hang tight. So here's what we got.
I'm tracking.
Don't stop a train when it's on the track, Pat.
Modern feminism. This is actually very helpful. So modern feminism, because Saucecast, these are the things you talk about. That's not our
Part
content.
of it, yes.
So boss babe culture.
Yeah.
And then the other one you said, marry the government. What'd you say?
Marry the government, marry the state rather than your
marry
man.
the state, not a man. Okay,
you
keep
talked
going.
about that with Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yeah, this is great.
You talk
Keep
about
going.
the lack of men in society, and that you've talked about this. It used to be 4% of all kids were born to a single parent. Now it's up to 40%. And the darker your complexion, no offense, the less likelihood that your man's going to be in the house. If you're Hispanic, I think it's 60%, and if you're black, I think it's 70% that the father's not in the home, because they're encouraged to basically have fatherless homes that's going on. We've seen what happens with fatherless homes. You're more likely to do drugs. You're more likely to go to jail. You're most likely to drop out of school. You're most likely to have all these sorts of issues. Then you have the phone situation that, you don't need to go play outside. You don't need to interact with others. Just stay on your phone all day. So it's just a complete shit show what's going on in America right now. We talk about the great replacement theory that Tom's a big proponent of out there. But the great replacement theory is that people aren't having kids. Now, here's the catch, because I'm sure say, Adam, you don't have any kids. The difference is I want to have a bunch of kids. I'm just waiting to choose the right wife and mother to the kids. But I can do that in my 40s. Women, if you actually choose to play the long game, you're going to have a very sad future, because by the time you're 35, what is known as basically you have trouble having a baby. I forgot the name of the exact term, but after 35, you have...
Well, Don Lemon said you're not in your prime anymore.
Exactly, you're not in your prime. You have... you have an issue having kids. I forget the name of the term. But when you're 40, it's basically very tough to have kids, especially if you want to have multiple. Good luck having one of those. But for men and women, it's different. But women, this goes back to the decline in traditional values. Women have lost sight of what their superpower is, and that is motherhood. Yes, you can have a business. Yes, you can make money. Yes, you can work. But nobody, despite what certain people in the trans community can say, will tell you that men can have babies. Women are the ones that are having babies.
Yeah.
And they need to remember that that is their superpower. And that's a lot of what Andrew Tate talks about when we had those conversations with him. But people want to blaspheme him for having traditional values when women are the ones that have the babies, as much as they're trying to push that men can have babies too. There's men having baby emojis on your iPhone, but there's no family
They took them
emojis.
out. They took them out. And what about abortion? PBD, we didn't mention abortions.
Yeah,
people don't have a baby because they're killing 73 million a year globally are abortions. I think is that an accurate number, Rob? How many abortions if you had to guesstimate, Rob? How many abortions worldwide do humans do? How many? 73 million average. That's one. And then what about environmental concerns? People that are like, we're overpopulated. That's one of the reasons that they don't want to have baby. What is the worldwide? Oh, I'm sorry. 100 each year, 121 million abortions. And then, this translates to 73 million abortions per year. 73 million human beings every year.
That's why the abortion conversation. By the way, it's geriatric pregnancy, what I was thinking after 35.
Here's what I want to tell you. The announcement is both Dave Smith and Chris Cuomo have agreed to a debate.
That's great.
May 31st, Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m.
Friday night fights
6 to 9 p.m.
That is sick.
Okay? 6 to 9 p.m. Wow. It's official. It'll be at our comedy club that we have, 5990 Live. And this is going to be what the people want. The people from the establishment who don't want to see this conversation take place, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent this from taking place.
Fauci being one of them.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
They're going to be watching. Within seconds of making this announcement, I guarantee you messages are being sent saying, are you out of your flipping mind? For those of you guys that haven't yet registered for this, just go to 5990 Live, buy a ticket. VIPs sell out ASAP, and then it'll be about 185 to 190 tickets. VIPs will have cigars with us afterwards, but looking forward to this.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.